You're watching Bloomberg News from New York. I'm Mark Crumpton.
And I'm Julie Hyman. And let's get right to it. Social networking site Facebook, it says it has 300 million active users. That's a lot of potential customers. But the question remains how to make money from them. Internet pioneer Max Levchin, he's trying to tap into that market through his latest venture, Slide.com. Levchin co-founded PayPal back in 1998. He sold it to eBay for $1.5 billion. And he's also number 25 on Fortune's 40 Under 40 list. He joined us now from San Francisco. Max, welcome to Bloomberg News. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks. Great to be here.
So first of all, let's talk about Slide.com. A lot of different sort of apps that you have on it, including a slideshow, including some features that are on Facebook like Super Poke Pets. So tell us, how exactly do you monetize those particular features?
So in the last year or so, we've really focused on creating virtual worlds, which has turned out to be a fantastic business model for us. For example, Super Poke Pets you just mentioned is a virtual world, a little bit like Second Life or World of Warcraft even, but targeted at soccer moms. And the way we make money there is through sales of virtual goods, which can be anything from the pet to decorations for the pet's habitats to pet's food, all sorts of exciting things that are made of pixels but sold for real money. The innovation that we've added to our virtual world is that consumers actually can create goods and services inside the world and participate in the entertainment economy, if you will, that we maintain. So it's a very healthy business. It was great.
I got to ask you, most soccer moms I know, they barely have time to ferry around their kids and take care of their real pets. How is this, an untapped market when these are people who are very busy?
So the amazing thing is that a huge component of people's lives is shifting to the internet. It's been written up a couple of times. Some of our more people addicted users spend over 12 hours a week on Super Poke Pets. So it's certainly borne out to be an extremely attractive and addictive universe to play in. But it seems that people are substituting their offline entertainment, such as movies or going out, with playing inside these virtual worlds on sites like Facebook and et cetera.
Max, you say that this year your company's revenues tripled from last year. You also made the phrase, I thought it was interesting, you told VentureBeat that Slide has gone from walking to flying, but you said that's one of the things that a lot of companies, that will sink them. How did you do that? How did you go from walking to flying?
So one of the most interesting things that happened to us over the last year and a half or so is we pretty radically shifted our revenue model from 90% advertising to way more than 50% virtual goods. And I think that happened even as we saw the U.S. and worldwide economy go into a crisis and realized that advertising prices are bound to come down. There's a major amount of consolidation in the market. We saw an opportunity in virtual goods and seized it. And I think it was definitely a bet. We weren't sure it was going to exactly work out. And
did the economic climate dictate your move, or did you see this coming?
Both. What we saw coming was an economic climate changing adversely, advertising budgets shrinking, but also the overall glut of inventory on the web had to have resulted, and it did indeed, in a drop of the average price per 1,000 views. And so we thought it would be wise to shift to a different revenue model.
Max, a recent report put the size of the U.S. market for virtual goods at $1 billion, $1.6 billion potentially next year. That, of course, though, we're talking about sales. And your company, as far as we know, is not profitable yet. You've talked about it might happen soon. How soon? I mean, soon is pretty vague here. By the end of the year, by early next year?
The only answer I can give you right now is not soon enough for me, but pretty soon.
And is it going to be there primarily from virtual goods, or are there other streams that are coming into the Slide.com also? We're
still making money from both virtual goods and through advertising, but virtual goods is by far the faster growing of the two.
I want to ask you generally about Facebook also, obviously, since you do a lot of dealings with Facebook with your apps running on it. How soon do you think Facebook needs to make money, and is it going to be virtual goods for it, or what do you think is the best way to monetize that model?
I think Facebook is already making a tremendous amount of money, and I think the amazing thing about Facebook as a platform is that it truly is a platform. Platform, to me, is only legitimate when its primary goal is enabling the earning potential of businesses depending on it. And it has an enormous amount of potential revenue streams. Some of them already exist. Some of them are bound to come into existence. One, the advertising engine inside Facebook is being used by companies like us to build up traffic to our products and monetize them more successfully by building up a larger audience.
Revenue is one thing, but what about profitability?
I think I certainly wouldn't speak on behalf of Facebook, but I think their profitability is certainly not very far. In fact, perhaps just not as very far as ours.
Max, you and Julie brought it up speaking about Facebook. What's the next cutting-edge technology? What's the next Facebook, in your opinion?
I'm pretty excited about what Twitter is doing, although I can't wait for them to launch something radically new. I think there's a lot of cooking going on there, and I've yet to see something public. Some of the things that excite me today, sort of outside of both of those places, is this thing called augmented reality. It's the use of various devices, such as glasses, that overlay content over the image of the real world. For example, you could walk around and see a rating of a restaurant from Yelp while just simply looking at it through glasses. So I think that's a pretty incredible new technology that's only beginning to get built and monetized.
Well, Max, you mentioned Twitter. Are you saying you see some companies, perhaps even in this environment, being a little bit too cautious and not willing to take that step to be, as you said, radical?
You know, I don't want to critique anyone too much. I think Twitter is an enormous loaded spring of potential. I can't wait for it to release.
Max, I'm curious, though, when you look at these various companies and even your own involvement in social networking, as we know, technology's fickle. We all remember Friendster, and people don't really talk about it so much anymore. I mean, as a technology entrepreneur, how do you sort of get out ahead of the wave? Are you concerned at all that today's consumer is going to be fickle and Facebook will be short-lived?
You know, I think Mark Zuckerberg and his team have done a tremendous job constantly evolving Facebook with the taste and demands of the consumers. And as they add layers and layers of new demographics, the demands change quite radically, and they've kept abreast or ahead of the consumer demand. So I'm not too worried for them. I think it is absolutely true that consumer is very fickle, and you have to keep on top of what's going on. You also have to constantly look at what's known as the retention metrics. People join any new service in droves, but they are just as quick to drop it and try out something new. So the most important, perhaps, metric on the web and Web 2.0 today is retention.
Internet pioneer Max Levchin, Slide.com, and he also co-founded PayPal. Max joining us from San Francisco. Max, thank you so much.